A very good evening and a very warm welcome to Buddhist Mahavir's Facebook page. We are going live this evening here from Kuala Lumpur at the Buddhist Mahavir's Facebook page on our Dhammadana series. And today we continue with another new speaker who we have invited to join us. And this Bhante is based in the USA. Now, Bhante will be talking on the subject of Saddha, confidence. Now, why is that topic important? Because I know most of us do practice the observance or the veneration to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, the triple gem. But sometimes we do it blindly, without much thought to why are we doing the what is this, the observance or the veneration to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. So only problem is if you can build your confidence in the triple gem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, only then will you be able to appreciate the values of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. And this evening, Bhante will be taking us through the exercise of telling us why we need to build confidence or saddha in the triple gem, and also the benefits that we can derive from having confidence in the triple gem. Um, and how it can help us eventually to attain Nibbana. So without much ado, I would now like to invite Bhante Dhammagaru from the US to join us in our studios. Good morning, Bhante. I know it's early morning for you. It's late
Good
evening
morning.
for us here. And welcome to the Buddhist Mahavira's Dhammadana series.
Okay, thank
This
you.
is your first time speaking to our audience. Let me introduce Bhante to those of you who are not familiar or first time seeing Bhante. Now, Bhante Usgoda Dhammagaru Thero is a Sri Lankan born Theravada Buddhist monk, and he was trained and ordained at the Bhikkhu Training Center in Maragama. Bhante then obtained his BA honours from the Kelaniya University and obtained his master's also from the Kelaniya University. Bhante then did his master's in education from the University of Colombo and then obtained his master's in philosophy from the Buddhist and Pali University of Sri Lanka. Bhante has lived in the US for the last 9 years, and Bhante is now currently the resident monk of the Los Angeles Buddhist Vihara, the Mindfulness Meditation Center in Covina, California, USA. So without much ado, I would now like to invite Bhante to start this evening's Dhamma sharing entitled Confidence Saddha in the Triple Gem. Bhante?
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Dassana kamo sīlavatang sandhammang sotu micchati vinaya macchera malang save sandoti vucchati. Homage to the exalted one, the worthy one, the supremely enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Venerable members of the Mahasangha, friends in Dhamma, today Malaysia Buddhist Mahavihara devotees and venerable monks, you invited me for this Dhamma sermon. For the Dhamma sermon, I selected the topic named Saddha, confidence or faith in the Triple Gem. This is one of the main teachings in Buddhism. Buddha always emphasized the importance of having Saddha. The reason is that Buddha says, Saddha Molika Sabbepi Kusala Dhamma. Saddha is the foundation of all meritorious activities, wholesome activities, or kusala. Therefore, Saddha in Buddhism plays a very big role. In this situation, we should understand what is the nature of Saddha or confidence or faith in the triple gem, and how we develop it, and what are the benefits of Saddha, and also what are the characteristics of Saddha. You should know very well. That is the purpose of this sermon that we are going to explain. And first of all, we should understand the importance of Dhamma. Dhamma means the story of our life. Buddha explained his message for 45 years about our life and about the world. The more we listen to Dhamma, the more we understand our life, what happens to our life. And also, we can understand how suffering arises and how we can overcome suffering by listening to Dhamma and by practicing Dhamma. Buddha says the nature of Saddha or confidence. Saddhati tathagatassa bodhing. Confidence in what the Buddha realized, what the Buddha understood when he attained enlightenment. That is the Saddha. And also in the primary level, we can understand Saddha as a bija, as a seed. Saddha bijang. Saddha is a seed of merits or wholesome activities. First of all, we develop our Saddha understanding the Buddha's noble qualities and Dhamma's qualities and the qualities of the Sangha. We have confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. The more we develop our confidence, the more we are happy and the more our inner motivation increases by listening to Dhamma, by understanding Dhamma. According to Buddha's message, we develop our confidence throughout listening to Dhamma. The more we listen to Dhamma, the more we are able to develop our confidence or faith in the triple gem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. First of all, we should understand the Buddha's noble qualities. The Buddha is the person who developed his mind to the maximum level with compassion and wisdom. Great compassion and great wisdom. When we think about the Buddha's noble qualities, we are happy, we are confident, we are faith. This faith is not just a blind faith, but endowed with knowledge and understanding. Buddha's qualities are summarized into 9 qualities. Itipiso Bhagava Arahang. Such indeed the exalted one, Arahang, worthy. Samma Sambuddho, supremely enlightened. Vijjacharan Sampanno, endowed with knowledge and conduct. Sugato, well gone. Lokavidu, knower of the world. Anuttaro Purisadama Sarati, incomparable trainer of persons to be tamed. Sattaha Deva Manusanam, the supreme teacher of deities and men. Buddha enlightened and Bhagava exalted. These are the qualities that we contemplate on when we practice the Buddha Hanusati Bhavana, the contemplation of the Buddha. Whenever we think about the Buddha's qualities, it is not just a thinking about him, but a meditation technique that we can concentrate our mind with positive thoughts. The reason is that whenever we think about the Buddha, our mind has no negative thoughts at the moment. Our mind is so pure and calm. Contemplating on the qualities of the Buddha is one of the techniques that we can use to purify our mind. Then we are happy. Next, we think about the nature of the Dhamma, what Buddha explained for 45 years. Qualities of the Dhamma can be summarized into 6. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo. Dhamma is well expounded by the Blessed One. Sanditiko, visible results. Akaliko, immediately effective. Ehipasiko, calling one to come and see. Opanaiko, leading onwards, Pachatang Veditabbo, Vinyohi. It should be realized by the wise by his own wisdom. These are the qualities of the Dhamma. The more we listen to Dhamma, the more we understand the Dhamma, and also then we are confident in what the Buddha taught. We are happy when we think about the Dhamma. And also the qualities of the Sangha. Sangha means Buddha's noble disciples. When we think about the qualities of the disciples of the Supreme Buddha, we are so happy. We think about their inner qualities, not only their virtues and qualities, but we think about their noble service, dedication for the longevity of the dispensation of the Buddha. They not only practiced the Dhamma, they protected the Dhamma, they brought this valuable message, sublime truth, from generation to generation for 2500 years. That is why we respect them. That is why we are confident in them. The Buddha's noble disciples, Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho. The order of the Blessed One's disciples is practicing well, practicing rightly, practicing correctly, practicing perfectly. And also, the order of the Blessed One's disciples is worthy of offerings and hospitality, worthy of gifts and salutation, the supreme field of merit for the world. When we think about the qualities of the Mahasangha, the noble disciples of the Buddha, our mind is so pure and calm. At the moment, our mind has no negativities, unwholesome mental thoughts, unwholesome mental states, our mind. The more we contemplate on the qualities of the triple gem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, the more we are able to purify our mind. That is why the Supreme Buddha has explained, contemplating on these three things, the triple gem, are the meditation techniques. Buddhanusati, Dhammanusati, and Sanghanusati. It helps us to develop our confidence or faith in the triple gem. Not only that, we listening to Dhamma again and again. According to the Sutta of Kitagiri, the Kitagiri Sutta, it says very clearly, Saddha Jato Upasankamati, Upasankamitva Pairupasati, and Pairupasitva Sotang Odahati, Ohita Soto Dhamman Sunati, Sotva Dhamman Dareti, Datanan Dhamman Angatang Upaparikati. If someone has a seed of confidence or faith in the triple gem, he goes to the triple gem. He reaches the Buddha or Sangha. In the present world, we reach the Sangha when we have the confidence. And also we associate with the Mahasangha or Kalyana Mitra. Then we pay our attention to listening to what they say. Sotang Odahati. We pay our attention. We listening to Dhamma. Throughout listening to Dhamma, we can develop our confidence. The more we listen to Dhamma, the more we realize our life and world, then we develop our understanding and we develop our inner courage. And also, here, we should understand the importance of Saddha. Saddha is explained in various places in Buddhism. Buddha says, Saddha Indriyam. Saddha is a faculty, spiritual faculty, and also Saddha Balang. Saddha is a power or strength. And Saddhaya Tarati Ogam. We across the flood of samsara by confidence or faith. And also Saddha Bijam, Saddha or confidence is a seed of merits and wholesome activities. In this situation, In another time, Buddha says confidence or Saddha is a very powerful thing. Before Buddha attained enlightenment, as a bodhisattva, when Buddha associated Alarkalama and Udakarama Putta, Buddha says very clearly after he attained enlightenment, when Buddha associated Alarkalama, Buddha says, Alarkalama had Saddha or confidence. I also had the confidence. Then you may be confused. What is that Saddha? At that time, there were no Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha in the world. But Bodhisattva practice Saddha. Then we should understand the clear meaning of Saddha. Their Saddha means what we practice. Confidence can be used in many places. When you eat something, you have a confidence that what you eat. When you live in a house, you have confidence that house is convenient and safe. When you associate a person, you have a confidence. You are confident in that person. When you select a college or university, you are confident in the teachers of the college or the lectures of the university. That is why you go to the college or university. When you find a doctor, when you meet a doctor, you are confident in that doctor has enough qualifications, that doctor can treat you. That is why you go to that doctor. In this situation, it is clear that confidence means faith or trust in whatever we do. Especially when we come to the Buddhism, Buddhist confidence is that practicing Dhamma. When we practice Dhamma, we are confident in what we practice. That is very important. In the normal level, in the ordinary level, confidence can be used in many places for our this life, immediate life. But when we practice confidence in the Dhamma, we have a very high level confidence because we use this confidence to overcome suffering. We use this confidence to overcome samsaric circle completely. Then here confidence should be in the higher level. We achieve this confidence or Saddha or faith by listening to Dhamma. Here we should have clear understanding what the Supreme Buddha explains. For that, we have to listen to Dhamma again and again. Not only we listening to Dhamma, but we should develop our Yoniso Manasikara wise reflection too. Listening to Dhamma and wise reflection, both of them are very important to develop our confidence. By listening to Dhamma and by Yoniso Manasikara or wise consideration or wise reflection, we develop our Sammaditthi, right understanding, right vision, or right view. The very first level understanding that we have throughout listening to Dhamma is that understanding the karmic law. This is very important. The very first stage of wisdom or right understanding is that understanding of the karmic law. What is the meaning of karmic law? Whatever we do with intention, physically, verbally, or mentally, we will have the same results. If our mind is polluted, if we do something physically, verbally, or mentally, the results are evil. Suffering follows us. And also, if we do something with a pure mind, physically, verbally, or mentally, the results are positive. The results are fruitful. Good results follow us even as the shadow never leaves us. This is the nature of the karmic law. By listening to Dhamma, if we can develop this understanding, the karmic law, then we always overcome negativities or evils from our life. That is the first understanding. Sabba papa sakaranam, not to do any evil. Not only that, we cultivate good deeds. We develop wholesome activities. Kusala Sukha Sampada. Why do we need to overcome evils? If we do some evils, suffering follows us. That is why we overcome negativities throughout understanding of listening Dhamma. The next thing, when we do good deeds, meritorious deeds, wholesome activities, our inner peace gradually increases. That is why we practice good deeds as generosity, virtue, or loving kindness meditation. By practicing these three meritorious deeds, good activities, dana, sila, and bhavana, we purify our mind, we develop our inner peace. By practicing generosity or dana, we gradually overcome greed or attachment. By practicing virtue or moral conduct, discipline in our speech and behavior, we gradually overcome anger, and also sometimes we are able to overcome jealousy and other misbehaviors. By practicing loving kindness meditation, we develop our anger. Anger is one of the main reasons that disturb our peace of mind. By doing these three activities, generosity, virtue, and loving kindness meditation, we are able to develop positive thoughts, and also we are able to overcome hindrances, panchanivarana, 5 hindrances, which disturb our peace of mind. Little by little, we are able to see the beauty of our mind because we purify our mind by practicing these good activities. This is the first understanding and action that we develop by listening to Dhamma, having right understanding in the first level of right view. Then the next level, understanding the dependent origination. This is very important. Buddha says, Yo Dhammam Passati Somam Passati. He who sees the Dhamma sees the Buddha. He who sees the Buddha sees the Dhamma. The real way when we are going to understand the Buddha is that understanding the Dhamma. Again, Buddha says, Yo Patisampadam Passati, so Dhammam Passati. He who sees the dependent origination sees the Dhamma. He who sees the Dhamma sees the exalted one. In this situation, we should understand how suffering arises. What is the nature of the dependent origination? Dependent origination is the main topic in Buddhism. How suffering arises. Our entire life is that our internal senses and external objects. We see something through our eyes, and also we hear, we smell, we taste, we touch, we think something through our 6 senses. When we contact some objects, external objects, the very first experience, the very first 5 aggregates is neutral. That is neither wholesome nor unwholesome. That is just the consequences, vipaka or result. If you are ignorant about the very first experience, then our mind is fixed in outside material world. The very first experience just a consequence, but if we take it with ignorance, then suddenly our mind depends on outside. Then we are in the samsaric circle. Avidya patya sankhara. Through the ignorance are conditioned mental formations. Through mental formations is conditioned consciousness. Like that, avidya patya sankhara, sankhara patya vijnanam, like that. We are in the samsaric circle with decay, death, sickness, sorrow, lamentation. Whenever we can overcome this ignorance, then we are not in the circle. When we experience something through our senses, if we are clever to understand, now I understand this reality which has already ceased through my mind consciousness, then we don't depend on outside. When we see something, suddenly we look at inside. We know very well when we see something, the first experience, the eye form, eye consciousness, eye contact, eye feeling, everything has ceased at the moment when we recognize something through our eye. With this understanding, we are happy since we know how suffering arises and how suffering ceases. This is the place where we should be confident in. Saddhati tathagatassa bodhin. Saddha means confident in what the exalted one realizes. This is the place where should be faith in. In one side, we have understanding the karmic law. On the other side, we know very well how suffering arises. The very first experience of five aggregates is the noble truth of suffering. That the noble of truth, the first noble truth of suffering should be realized. The very first experience should be realized. Then samudaya satyam pahatamam. The origin of suffering should be overcome. Our ignorance, we should overcome. That is the second noble truth. And also, the cessation of suffering, the noble truth of the cessation of suffering should be realized. When we don't have ignorance, then we have no suffering. And also the fourth one, Magga Satya, the path that leads to getting rid of suffering, that should be developed. Magga Satyam Bhavetabam. These are the four noble truths. Dukkha Satya, Samudaya Satya, Nirodha Satya, Magga Satya. If we have this understanding, then we have full confidence, faith, endowed with knowledge and understanding. With this understanding, our inner courage, dedication, motivation gradually increases. If you have real understanding, clear understanding, how suffering arises and how suffering ceases, then we are hurried to overcome suffering. The reason is that if you are ignorant, we have to get suffering. Nobody likes to get suffering. Therefore, our inner courage, inner motivation increases to overcome this misunderstanding and ignorance by practicing Sammaditthi, right understanding. Then we meet the path, the direct path, and the fearless path. Ujuko nama somaggo abhihanam sadhisa. We meet the direct path, the noble eightfold path. This is the direct path and also directions are fearless. Ujuko nam somaggo abhihanam sadisa. There are 8 steps. These factors are the 8 steps of happiness. Then we give the priority to practice the Noble Eightfold Path. We do everything, including our entire life. We do everything focusing on the Noble Eightfold Path. When we speak something, that belongs to Sammavaca, right speech. When we have a job, it belongs to Samma Ajiva, right livelihood. When we practice mindfulness, it belongs to right mindfulness. When we practice concentration, it is Samma Samadhi, right concentration. When we have good intention, it is Samma Sankappa, right thoughts, right intention. Look here. Everything that we do according to the Noble Eightfold Path, which is the direct path that has fearless directions. We discuss the message that Buddha has explained. Buddha's understanding. This is the Buddha's understanding. As the result of this understanding, we again and again reach to the Sangha and good association. We listen to Dhamma. From the beginning to end, Buddha says we have developed 4 qualities in our life for our spiritual life. Kalyana Mitrasra, associating with good friends, Saddhamma Savana, listening to Dhamma, Yoniso Manasikara, wise reflection, and Dhammanudhamma Patipatti, practice. These 4 things should be developed and practiced from the beginning to end on the path of liberation for inner peace. Again and again, we go to the Kalyana Mitra, we listen to Dhamma, we make cleanse the understanding of the path that we have to practice. As the result of listening to Dhamma and developing our understanding, we develop our inner courage, virya, or effort, or strength. As the result of having Saddha, we have virya. That is also a spiritual faculty. What is the virya? Virya means we are hurried to overcome suffering. Now we need to practice this Dhamma. We know very well. Now the path is very clear. When we are ignorant, we are in the samsaric circle, we are suffering. When we practice Dhamma, the Noble Eightfold Path, little by little we can overcome samsaric circle. It means we can overcome suffering. If we know this reality, then we meet the path, the clear path, sati or samma sati, right mindfulness. We live always with mindfulness. We do our all activities with mindfulness. What is the mindfulness? Being aware of our body and mind. Being aware of our body, feeling, consciousness, and mental formations. In one side, we keep our attention in the present moment with these 4 areas. Next, we reflect on impermanence. We practice impermanence. I is impermanent. Form is impermanent. I consciousness is impermanent. I contact is impermanent. I feeling is impermanent. The perception is impermanent. Mental formations are impermanent. Everything is impermanent. Impermanence means every moment these 5 aggregates arise at the moment, they immediately cease. Arising and ceasing. Whenever we understand this reality, as soon as we experience something about the world, we suddenly look at inside. The ordinary people always look at outside. But when we experience something, we immediately look at inside. What happens to my mind at the moment? And also we go to the very first experience, the root of experience. It has already ceased. With this understanding, we don't depend on outside. We go to the Anutpada Nirodha, the cessation of not arising. The ordinary people and religious leaders explain the Uppada Nirodha, the cessation of arising something. But the difference in Buddhism is that Buddha explained his message for Anutpada Nirodha, the cessation of not arising. It has a very deep meaning. It means usually people reflect on impermanence in the outside. When they look at something, they think this is changing. Actually, that is very common. Everyone can reflect on it. But Buddha's message is different. That is why Buddha says, Pubbe ananusotesu dhammesu. I realized something which I hadn't realized before. What is that? Anutpada Nirodha. It means not just reflecting on impermanence of outside, but when we see something outside, we reflect on the root of the first experience. That first experience has already ceased. When we have this understanding, we don't find anything outside. We know very well everything outside has already ceased. It doesn't mean that there are no material world in the world. Actually, there is a material world. But the important thing, when we understand the material world, the first experience, our eye and other senses, and also external objects, everything has ceased. We recognize everything through our mind consciousness with mental formations. That mind and mental formations are also impermanent. They arise and cease at the moment. With this understanding, we see the world as an empty village. With this understanding, we have no attachment or we have no anger with anyone. This is the place where we should be confident in what the exalted one explained. With this understanding, we practice mindfulness again and again. The more we listen to Dhamma, the more our inner courage increases. The more the inner courage developed, we practice Dhamma. The more we practice Dhamma, the more confidence increases in our life. This is like a circle. We associate the good friends, we listening to Dhamma, we understand the Dhamma, we practice Dhamma, we purify our mind, then we are happy. Again we listening to Dhamma, practice Dhamma, purify our mind, again and again. When we listening and practice Dhamma, we purify our mind. Our Saddha or confidence in the Buddha's message gradually increases. This is the nature of the Saddha. If we have this Saddha, we can check whether we are on the path of liberation. If we do our all activities by practicing the Noble Eightfold Path, that is one of the signs that we are really on the path of liberation. On the other side, when we do something, we should check that whether my tanha dittimana, greed, conceit, and views increase or decrease. Sometimes we can see some people do a lot of meritorious deeds, but their negativities, negative thoughts don't decrease, then it means they haven't gained the real results of practicing good deeds. When we practice Dhamma, our negativities, lobha, dosa, moha, greed, anger, and delusion should gradually decrease. And also, when we develop our confidence, Buddha says there are 3 characteristics of the person who is devoted to the triple gem. Dassana kamo silavatang, saddhamman sotamicati, vineya macchera malang, save saddhoti uchati. There are 3 characteristics of the devoted person to the Buddha. Dassana kamo silavatang, he likes to see the virtuous persons, monks and other virtuous persons. Saddhamman sotamicati, he likes to listen to Dhamma. And Vinaya Macchera Malang, he gradually overcomes greed by practicing generosity. He has a generous heart. He always practices generosity. He always listens to Dhamma. And also, he is interested in seeing virtuous persons. These are the qualities of the person who is devoted in the triple gem. This is the main topic, Saddha, that we hope to discuss. By listening to Dhamma, contemplating on the qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, we can develop our confidence or faith in the triple gem. And finally, we understand the value of this message, Buddha's message. The message is not a creation, it is a discovery. Dhamma is the Buddha's discovery. He realized this message by himself and he proclaimed this message to the world very kindly. When we think about the Buddha, we understand the Buddha's understanding. When we listen to Dhamma and practice Dhamma, we understand the qualities of the Dhamma. Dhamma is visible results, immediately effective. The more we listen to Dhamma and practice Dhamma, the more we purify our mind from negative thoughts, especially from the root of unwholesomeness, lobha, dosa, moha, desire, anger, and delusion. And also, we can understand gradually, we develop good qualities in our life by practicing Dhamma. Little by little, we purify our mind. Day by day, when we practice the Dhamma, the Noble Eightfold Path, we purify our mind from negativities. When we purify our mind from negativities, we can see the beauty of our life. Our inner peace gradually increases because of purifying our mind. Sachitta Pariyodapanam. All the doctrines that the Blessed One explained for 45 years can be summarized into one sentence, which is that purifying one's mind. The more we listen to Dhamma, the more confidence increases within us, then virya increases, the effort increases, and we practice mindfulness. As the result of practicing mindfulness, our concentration gradually increases. We are able to concentrate our mind in a particular object, wholesome object for a long time. When mind gains concentration, we reflect on impermanence, panya. Everything is impermanent. Our internal senses are impermanent, external objects are impermanent, consciousnesses are impermanent, contacts are impermanent, perceptions are impermanent, everything is impermanent. This is the nature of panya. These are the spiritual faculties, Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. if we have real understanding about the confidence, if we gain the real confidence or Saddha, it means we go on the path of liberation little by little. We have inner motivation, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. These spiritual faculties gradually increase as the result of having confidence. Not only that, these qualities develop up to as strengths or powers, Saddha Bala, Virya Bala, Sati Bala, Samadhi Bala, Panya Bala. Not only that, these qualities increase into 7 enlightenment factors. Sati Sambojjhanga, Dhammavidya Sambojjhanga, like that. Finally, we develop the highest qualities. Buddha says, as a wise person, the highest qualities that we can develop in our life for the liberation are that samatha, vipassana, concentration, and wisdom. We increase the duration of practicing concentration meditation using some meditation techniques. When mind gains concentration, we reflect on impermanence. Everything is impermanent. As the result of practicing this path, we are confident in the Buddha's understanding. We are confident in the message of the Buddha. Dharma is visible results, immediate, effective, and also we are confident in the practice of the Sangha. We respect the Sangha because of their practice. You can understand when Sariputta met Assaji, Arahant Assaji. At the moment, ascetic Sariputta asked, your senses are very pleasant. I think something there is inside that you practice. That is why you have this discipline. Please explain the message that you practice. He was confident in practice of Arahant Assaji. Like that. Confidence in Triple J means confident in what the Buddha realized. Confident in the nature of the Dhamma. Confidence in what the Sangha practice. In this situation, when we have this confidence, we always trust, believe in this message. We do everything in our day-to-day life, giving the priority to practice Dhamma. This is our highest goal. The reason is that we know very well all other things end with suffering. Only Dhamma, practicing Dhamma, gains us happiness because it purifies our mind. The more we purify our mind, the more we overcome ignorance. The more we overcome ignorance, the more we overcome the samsaric circle. As the result of practicing this path, we can develop our mind to the maximum level with loving kindness and wisdom, and also we are able to purify our mind from negative thoughts. Then we are able to overcome suffering, and the samsaric circle completely. This is the nature of the Saddha or confidence. This is the place where we should be faith in. This faith is not just a blind faith, but endowed with knowledge and understanding. As the result of this practice, we can develop our inner peace, and day by day, we are able to reach the liberation, emancipation, the peace of mind. For that, I wish you all the best. If you have any question about this topic, Saddha or confidence, you can ask. This is the time to ask questions.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you for that very interesting discussion on Saddha. Yes, there are some questions. Let me just post that onto the screen. Bhante, can you read, or do you want me to read this for you?
Can you please explain it? My
Okay.
eyes are sorry.
Right, I'll read this to you. Dear Bhante, I was taught by a Thai Ajahn to recite and focus my attention on Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha repeatedly in times of distress and fear. Is it similar to placing faith in the Triple Gem? Thank you for the talk.
Okay, actually, this is the first advantage of reflecting on the triple gem, contemplating on the triple gem. Buddha says very clearly, whenever we think about the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, at the moment we have no fear. Fear means sometimes fear comes from outside. When we are ignorant, the fear comes from outside, but actually we create fear inside. When we think the qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha at the moment, our mind has no space for fear because our mind is so pleasant and devoted to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. That is why some Bhantes explain practicing or contemplating the qualities of the triple gem for getting rid of fear. That is only primary advantage. But the secondary advantage is that if we have confidence in the triple gem, we have no fear that falling into hell. If someone has a confidence in the triple gem, he has no fear that he fall into hell. As the result of Saddha, we can have a blissful life hereafter. We never fall into hell. These are the primary level benefits that we receive throughout contemplating on the triple gem. But the highest quality and understanding the Dhamma is the real way understanding the triple gem. That is why Buddha says, Yo Dhammam Passati Somam Passati. He who sees the Dhamma sees me, sees Buddha. And also Buddha says, Yo Patisampadam Passati Sodam Passati. He who sees the divine origination sees me or sees the Buddha. These are the highest benefits that we receive throughout associating with the triple gem. Not only we develop positive thoughts in our mind by contemplating on the triple gem, but through listening to Dhamma, we understand the nature of our life, how suffering arises and ceases. With this understanding, we make a refuge within us. That is very important. Even though we meet the Buddha, someday we have to leave the Buddha. Even though we have met Kalyanamitta or Arahanta, someday we have to leave. One day, Reverend Ananda came to Buddha having a message that Reverend Sariputta passed away. Reverend Ananda was so sad. Then Buddha said, Ananda, did Sariputta bring you a Sila Samadhi Panya? No, Bhante. Then Buddha says, Ananda, don't depend on outside. You make a refuge within you. Dwell with yourself as an island, as a refuge, with no other refuge. Even though we say that I go to the Buddha for refuge, I go to the Dhamma for refuge, I go to the Sangha for refuge. Actually, finally, we make a refuge within us by practicing Dhamma. There, Buddha said, what is the highest way that we can make a refuge within us? Practicing mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness is the highest way that we can make a refuge within us. Whenever we practice mindfulness and wisdom, even though Buddha has passed away, even though we have no any Sangha or monks or Kalyanamitta, it doesn't matter. We have no fear, no doubt. We have made a refuge within us by practicing Dhamma. This is the path what the Exalted One kindly explained. This is the thing that we should practice.
Bhante, we have another question. I have confidence in the Buddha and the Dhamma, but my confidence in the Sangha is sometimes unsure because of the behavior of some of the Sangha members. What is your view, Bhante?
Sangha means actually noble Sangha. Sangha, it is very clear that he who attains some stages of enlightenment, like Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahant, these are the stages of the Sangha. And also he who practices Dhamma correctly, according to Buddha's message, Buddhist monastic code, that is the Sangha that we respect. And also, if someone has misbehavior, if we get upset, that is our fault. We respect the Arya Sangha, the noble Sanghas, having this example. And we respect their good qualities. We don't respect their misbehaviors. When you see me, through me, you should understand the Mahasangha or Sangha, the noble disciples. Throughout listening to Dhamma from me, you should be confident in the Arya Sangha, noble Sangha. Then we don't criticize others, and also we don't worry about the someone who has misbehaviors. That is their fault. We should not worry about that. We always respect the noble Sangha and also their qualities. Not only that, finally we make a confidence within us. We protect our mind. Throughout listening to Dhamma from the Sangha, we practice mindfulness. Then we make a refuge within us. Then we take care of our mind. Whenever we take care of our mind, you may never get upset. Whenever you don't take care of our mind, it means you haven't got the real results from the monks. The real result that you gain throughout associating Sangha is that listening to Dhamma, practicing Dhamma, and making a refuge within you, living in mindfulness. Whenever you are mindful, you may not get upset with seeing anything, any behavior of anyone.
This is the third question, Bhante. Dear Bhante, my grandchildren are very young, and by explaining them the qualities of the triple gem might be hard for them to comprehend. Can Bhante teach me methods to teach young children to have Saddha in the triple gem?
Yeah, very important thing is that as parents, you are always with your children. Your children can see something from you, from your behavior. Day by day, your children can see something from you that your behavior changed to good way. Day by day, your greed, anger, and delusion should decrease. Then first, your children are confident in parents. Then they understand my parents practice something. If I also practice this path, I also receive some results. In this situation, first of all, you as parents should be confident in the triple gem. And also you should understand the real message of the Buddha, Sammaditthi, Kammasakata Sammaditthi and Chatusatya Sammaditthi, the right understanding of the karmic law and the divine origination. When you have this understanding, you always practice the Noble Eightfold Path. When you practice this path, your children see your behavior, and also they are pleased to you first. You have given the good example from your life to them. Then it is very easy to get them to the Saddha. And also, especially, we should understand the way how to overcome suffering. You can teach your children that, my dear children, when you are greedy, when your mind is lustful, whether you are happy or unhappy, when you are angry, whether you are happy or unhappy, whether when you are ignorant, whether you are happy or unhappy, you can ask your children. Then you can teach your children how they overcome greed, anger, and delusion. But first of all, you parents should practice this pattern. Having the results, you can show this path to your children too. And also, especially, we should teach them how we purify our mind. When we purify our mind little by little, we can show our children to how they can purify their mind. Then we can teach them. We receive this message from the monks who are respected. That is why we should respect them. They practice this path and they protected this message, and they have been bringing this message from generation to generation. That is why we respect Bhantes. We should respect the Mahasangha. And also we can tell them the message. In the current society, a lot of educated people like psychology, psychiatric, and other things, or parapsychology like that, especially emotional intelligence. In the current society, emotional intelligence, EI, is very important, very famous. According to emotional intelligence, as a good person who has a good personality should have 5 qualities. What they are: self-awareness, self-regulation, inner motivation, empathy, and social skills. These are the qualities which are very appreciated in the current society. Whether your children believe or not the triple gem, it doesn't matter, but everyone likes happiness. Everyone likes to make a strong personality, good personality. For that, these qualities are very important. What they are: self-awareness, self-regulation, inner motivation, empathy, and social skills. Dear devotees, these qualities can be summarized into one stanza in Buddhism in Dhammapada. Uttanavato, Satimato, Suchikammasani Samakarino, Sanyatasya Dhamma Jivino, Appamatasya Sobivandati. See here. Self-awareness, Satimato. Uttanavato, inner motivation. Suchikammasya, self-discipline. These are the qualities that we can see in the modern psychology. Most of people like these qualities. We can show this pattern comparing modern psychology and philosophy. We can show the Dhamma. And also, especially in the psychiatric field, a lot of psychiatrists guide their patients for some treatments for their stress management. Especially, they recommend 2 qualities, techniques, that practice in loving kindness and practice in mindfulness. Practice in loving kindness and practice in mindfulness is the main techniques of reducing stress. When we see the Buddha's message, before 2,500 years ago, Buddha says, Yantan santam padang abhisameccha sabbe satta bhavantu sugitatta. He who wishes to attain the peace of mind should practice loving kindness meditation. When the modern psychology says that the importance of practicing loving kindness meditation, before 2500 years ago, Buddha has pointed out the importance of practicing loving kindness meditation. Not only that, practicing mindfulness. Buddha says practicing mindfulness is the only way for the getting rid of sorrow and lamentation, for the overcoming of grief and pain. We are so fortunate. When we compare these doctrines, Buddhism and other religions and psychology field, then we can show our children the importance of Dhamma, why we need to respect the Dhamma. In the Dhamma, we can find a lot of qualities that we can practice to develop our mind and our inner peace. Not only that, when we show this path, we can explain the importance of Buddha and Buddha's character. The Buddha is the person who realized this message, who discovered this message, and who proclaimed this message to the world with kind heart. This is the way how we can show the importance of the triple gem to our children. This is the way how we can make our children confident in the triple gem. For that, first of all, as elders, especially as parents, always you should be the good examples for their children. The reason is that always your children see you at home. Day by day, your inner peace should increase. And also, your happiness day by day should develop. As a house, as a home, there are 4 qualities we should develop. They are love, happiness, discipline, and understanding, knowledge. These are the qualities. These are the 4 pillars that a successful home should have. Love, discipline, happiness, and knowledge. These are the qualities. Love means not just love, but loving kindness. Discipline means sila or virtue. Happiness, santuti. And also knowledge, understanding the karmic law and understanding the divine origination. These qualities should be developed in a house if your house is successful with the devotion of the triple gem, with the confidence in the triple gem. Any question?
No, Bhante, thank you. Those were the 3 questions we had from the audience this evening. We've come to the end of this evening's Dhamma sharing. Before we end, Bhante, would you kindly conduct the Anumodana?
Okay, at this moment we discuss one of the main topics in Buddhism, which is Saddha or confidence in the triple gem. By listening to Dhamma with associating good friends, we can develop our confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Especially, we should have good understanding about the karmic law and the divine origination and how suffering arises and ceases. With this understanding, we always overcome negativities, we develop good deeds, and especially we practice Sila, Samadhi, Panya, virtue, concentration, and wisdom. As the result of practicing this path, gradually we are able to reduce our negativities from our mind. At the same time, we can develop our inner peace. When we are on the path of liberation, we can see the results that day by day our inner peace increases. This is the place, this is the thing that we can see as our success in our spiritual life. And And you also can practice this path. I think still you are practicing Dhamma. You have been practicing Dhamma for a long time with the association of good monks. You are so fortunate having this sublime message from the Triple Gem. At this moment, you're listening to Dhamma with good intention and ask some questions. Having this understanding, let's try to develop our right understanding and practice. Especially, we should try to practice the Noble Eightfold Path, which is the direct path with fearless directions. As the result of practicing this path, may all of us have to develop our mind, and finally may we have to attain the final bliss of liberation. For that, I wish you all the best. May the Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha bless you. May all of us attain the final bliss of liberation, emancipation, Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you so much for a very interesting Dhamma sharing on Saddha. I hope our listeners actually benefited from this sharing. So before we end, on behalf of the monks and the Committee of Management of the Buddhist Mahavihara, let me take this opportunity to thank Bhante for being with us this morning. It's a morning in Virginia, early morning, and Bhante took the time off to be with us. And also on behalf of the Committee of Management for the sponsors for this evening's Dhamma sharing, here the Dhammadana series, as well as to all our viewers who are listening in from both the Buddhist Mahavihara as well as the Theravada Buddhist Council of Malaysia's Facebook pages. I hope you enjoyed Bhante's discourse this evening, and hope to see you next Friday at our Dhammadana series at 8:30 p.m. Malaysian time. With that, please have a pleasant evening and Sukhi Hotu.
Okay, Sukhi Hotu. May the Triple Gem bless you. Thank you.